Ruddy gets himself isolated. You were close to the camera, Magical. Ooh, that was a close one. It seems like Ruddy are now isolated in first place after their victory versus LLS. We have a lot to discuss about this one because it was a little bit back and forth. But where did it started? Are you trying to make me lose in your eyes?
Yes.
Kind of worked. So where did it start? Well, where did it start? Like, how did Ruddy win this? I'm trying to communicate.
No. That was my analysis. Was guess.
See, I just thought it might be going places, but you know, at the end of the day, what we saw from this game was Ruddy showing kind of a typical Ruddy performance, right? And I think this is what we need to see evolution from the team in order for them to actually be seen as, look, this is a team we're confident in sending to EU Masters, or EMEA Masters it's now called, sorry, to on that front. You know, they kind of have an identity. It goes in the right direction most of the time, but there are far too many moments where it falls apart. And although this is a win for them, I don't think it's a win that they can be particularly happy with. I think at this stage of the season, you'd be hoping to see a lot more from them in terms of output, and really we're looking over the next few weeks for them to show that.
Well, I kind of feel like this game is one of those ones where it's hard to really quantify it, right? Because how much of it is Ruddy not playing well, and how much of it is just them having fun, right? It very much more seemed like they were limit testing many stages of the game. And they still find the win. They're still #1 now after that one. They are now uncontested at the top of the standings here in NLC. So it's like, it does have that, but it also kind of felt like they were just playing with their food. That they weren't really taking the game too seriously because they felt that they were going to win regardless. And guess what? They won regardless.
The Sejuani had such a pivotal job in this game. Yeah, it was amazing. But also we have to give some highlights to Elijah. He was absurd with the Gwen on the top side. Todok, you told us like Gwen could be the pick, and he made it through, but it was just not enough. Where do you believe LLS kind of missed the target in order to take this game versus Ruddy?
Yeah, I think this is a game they could have won, based on the fact that the top laner did such a good job in early game, the fact that Alex was having another dodgy game. My focus would be that, you know, look, there was an opportunity here if you were the light side coach and the light side team, and I think they would have felt that too. This could have been a win that would have really propelled us into that playoff spot where I think they've still got their sights on. And not managing to take a win under these circumstances, I mean, granted, I wouldn't say they were ever at like a huge advantage during this game. Kitcherukin started off very, very well with sort of those jungle invades and things like that. But based on how things unfolded, as light side, I think you'd be a little bit disappointed you didn't manage to win here, and without a doubt would see it as an opportunity missed.
Stand Ruddy now looking into their first place and now looking down at everyone else, at least for today. Tomorrow might be a different day, but to look into the last game, it's going to be Natives versus Verdant. Now, we talked a lot at the beginning of the show about a specific team which has an amazing AD carry, but then we need to look into the other team.
I mean, like you're saying, we kind of focus on Verdant a lot, and I feel like it's still going to be kind of that idea, is we will be focusing on them still, mostly because they will make the game last a long time. They'll make the game go a lot longer than a lot of teams are kind of ready for, and I think for Natives, they have to, when they go to the draft, either they have to just be like, fine, we know you're going to scale up later into the game, we're drafting for early game to win within 20 some odd minutes. But they also then maybe want to kind of look at that and be like, well, if that doesn't work out, they're just going to scale it and beat us in that regards too. So for Natives, a team that is towards the bottom of the standings, this is kind of that important factor of how can they look towards the rest of the season, since we are now past the halfway point in the NLC. We are at this point that every win matters if you want to get to playoffs. Only 4 teams will get it out of the 8, and Natives, having only gotten 2 wins so far, they need to start getting every single win from here on out.
So with this in mind, it means that if they miss, they're kind of putting themselves out of that spot for contention for the playoffs. On the other side, though, it's 4-4. So if they get a win, it's almost like they're looking into playoffs. One of the teams we're talking that could make the top tier but are still quite not there. Looking into the champion select, we start up with the Skarner, the usual. We might get to see the other ones like Ivern. The Dopamine has been a beast with it. This is another one that we need to highlight. Although we played twice with a Kindred, this is another champion we should be on the lookout for. But Rumble being removed from this one that it wasn't in a previous game.
Yeah, and as you guys were saying, this game is a big match for both these sides because it's essentially, I mean, in football it'd be called a 6-pointer. You know, like this, you kind of need a win on both sides. You know, to a huge degree. Verdant, this puts them a step into playoffs. For Natives, well, Verdant are actually one of the closest teams to them in the standings that they need to leapfrog in order to make it to playoffs. And really, you don't get another chance at this because, you know, you don't see this team again anymore, right? So you have to get it right now. And even though we said, look, you know, Nord DMG, this is probably like the most hype game of the day, and boy did it deliver, this is probably actually the most important and impactful game of the day. So, I mean, I think both teams coming in with very good prep. Kindred and Ivern being taken away from Dopamine makes perfect sense from Natives, but we might see it again. We might see it again.
Yes.
Will it be the Zyra?
Yes.
Getting some light. I know you guys are happy with this. Dopamine bringing it up. I don't think this is a flex. This should be for the jungle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. It's not really being a flex just with how good she has been in the jungle. Zyra for Dopamine, it's going to be great. But I was giving some faces because I'm looking at this draft. Skarner, Rumble, Band, Blue Side. Just kind of a little unusual here from Verdant. Maybe just kind of showing that they really wanted to make sure they get that Zyra. They would get something that is going to be pretty powerful. Tristana is still open if they want to get that for Harbo in the mid lane. I think that is a good answer, especially with Corki being locked in. It could still be a flex for Corki, going either for Painful or for Space. And then I believe last time Painful did play Zed up against Harbo. So there is that possibility if the Tristana gets locked in here. I'm really curious to see how Natives want to really answer this draft and what they want to do, because while Harbo could play something interesting, while we got Dopamine on to the Zyra, X-Drop has been the big factor, right? Big factor on how they can scale up into the game, how they can be that impactful AD carry, but they are playing Lucian with Leona. They are looking to dominate the bot lane.
Well, this Lucian, I think, is actually more likely to be mid. Yeah, I think it's more likely to be mid. Of course, there is flex potential here, but I would say Lucian mid is the most likely scenario here. What I would say, though, is actually Natives draft is pretty good. And what I mean by that is Volibear as an answer to Zyra in a vacuum is pretty darn solid. You've got the Q, which resets itself if you get CC'd. The CC from Zyra doesn't last particularly long on the E, and you can also actually jump through her crowd control because your ult's unstoppable, right? So there's a lot of space actually for Natives in this game, where if Volibear gets ahead, he can get onto Zyra and actually face check her and play onto her, which not many other junglers can do. We've not seen the Volibear answer yet. It's a good one. I'm really curious to see, okay, do they pilot this to the finest extent? Because I think actually out of this first three, Natives might have come out on top in terms of how their composition is looking to build. Verdant, I think, need to do some reshaping work on 4-5 to actually have something they can utilize to win this game.
Yeah, right of the dashes, so they need to remove that one. Might bring another one for the X-Drop. X-Drop should go into that AD carry position, like the AD carry champion pool. He played the Nasus, but let's not talk about that one. We need him, or at least Verdant needs him on the AD part of the map. You can bring Delusion, into the mid lane or even X-Drop. I know he likes to play face-to-face, but it's kind of dangerous now. Even though you have a Leona and that's a killer lane, it's still really dangerous.
I mean, I feel like the solution has a three-way flex still. Xion could still play in top lane, really dependent on what Natives play. It probably is looking more likely, at least currently, for Harbo. I think it will depend on what gets locked in here for Space, because they have the Corki. Tristana still available. That could be something that you want to flex around, and that would also be really interesting from Verdant if they want to grab the Tristana themselves, because that can go bot lane too for X-Drop. It can go mid lane. There are a lot of different options they have for themselves, especially because they already have themselves Zyra. And now that Ashe has been locked in for Space, that has got to be Harbo onto Lucian. You don't want Lucian going up against the Ashe and get poked out a little bit too easily. You need something that can clear out waves pretty effectively as well. Make sure that you're fighting over that level 2 spike in the bot lane against Ashe.
Yeah, and once again, from natives, they're picking champions that layer with the theme of what they want to do. Ashe is actually another champion that's very good versus Zyra, especially if they go the lethality variant. I don't know if they would do, but I'm pretty sure that's still viable, because you play outside of Zyra's effective range. You can also check the bushes that she's hiding in with E and ult. Zyra naturally can't run cleanse or anything like that, so she's really easy to pick when she takes up forward positions. I actually really like natives draft so far. You wouldn't maybe see, like face value, this is countering what Verdant want to do, but actually they've put together something quite clever if they're able to do it correctly, and so far they're taking all the right steps that we'd want to see. So the K'Sante pick is very good for Verdant. It makes perfect sense. However, I think natives are actually coming out on top in this draft so far.
Interesting. Comes in the 19 KDA Ezreal for the X drop. It seems like that is going to be the pick. That's a bait. He's just baiting you, Magical.
Come on. I don't care.
He's baiting you.
No, I wanted to get my hopes up. I just wanted to. I really was hoping that we get something spicy, because I think Torque is really right with this draft. And looking at natives, they have a lot of really good elements, like across the board, and pretty much anything they picked in the top lane would still be fine. They could play the Kled, they could play the Mundo. It all still would fit in, because the rest of the composition works so well as a unit, and now having something like Gwen that can really threaten K'Sante in a side lane, that once you get level 9 up against K'Sante, you have great dueling potential, you have great ways to make sure that Shihan's going to struggle into that lane, and it will really be on Verdant on how they want to play around the Zyra to try to gain control early into the game up against Volibear, because Volibear is something that will look for these early ganks. He's not going to clear nearly as quickly as Zyra, but that's okay. You're not really caring about that anyways, as long as you can get a play working top side, maybe even look towards the bot lane, put this Ezreal behind that had been absolutely fantastic last week. We were talking about that between the break, where it was the 19 KDA Ezreal that was able to 1v5 stop Baron to allow Verdant to pick up that win. It could do so again here, but I think the Volibear is a great way to attack that bot lane, to never let X-Drop get that kind of a lead.
Yeah, I like that idea. Just go for the piece of the puzzle that is giving a lot of issues to the other teams. We're talking about these two teams that need this victory, and after the champion select, I need those predictions. Todok and Magical, where do you land on this one? This is the last match of the day. This could be the spiciest one as well.
As far as I'm concerned, natives, they did a really interesting draft. I think they got everything right, and even though they're not the favorites coming in, I will give them the nod to win.
Natives for Todok, Magical.
I'm going to have to stick with Verdant, only because while I do like how natives have drafted for themselves, it is still really difficult, even when you have good counters to deal with Zyra. There's a reason why I've been just saying, pick this champion, because even with good counters in place, good ways to attack her, it doesn't matter. That is how strong this pick is, so I'm still going to give it to Verdant.
The desk is tied, but the last game is going to be tossed into the castles. It's going to be Duckling and Veteran to take it away to the Summoners Rift.
Thank you very much, Ashram, and onto the Rift we will go shortly for the final game here of this game day in the NLC. So far we've had a couple bloodbath bangs. What about this one, Veteran? Are you expecting the keyword fights?
On this one, on 6, definitely on the bot lane, I'm expecting him to go ham. But for the first 8 minutes, this will be a much calmer game than it was before. I will say, though, whereas I do agree that natives were able to win that draft, that was a good Singe hover. I think that was a good Singe game, to be honest. And I think if they slammed that in, they would actually be in a fairly strong advantage at all stages. But 'twas not to be. 'Twas not to be. But this shouldn't be as bloodbathy as the last game by any stretch. But the mid game will be interesting. I think the initial contests around like second grubs and Herald, those are also going to be really, really spicy contests. But we'll see how we go. Gwen's in the game, so anything can happen. A long game's going to be a Gwen advantage game, but last time around they weren't quite able to close with that fed Gwen, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Elijah wasn't able to close it out, as Elijah did lose that game though this time. Verdant up against natives. Verdant, who has started to turn their fortunes around after a good week just last week. They have put themselves in the playoff race, but they do need to get those wins on the board because the playoff race is tightening. Only 4 teams will make it through. And remember, top 4 is EMEA Masters, obviously. We only have 2 spots into the main event and the last chance qualifier. It's extremely competitive, but top 4 is still EMEA Masters.
Oh, natives, they actually do want to start things off early. Kalmsky drop on the Ezreal and on the Leona. This is also part of what would have made Singed really good later on, because I do worry about their ability to control the Ezreal. I do worry about the vulnerabilities of the Ashen towards the Leona later on. I feel like I've even seen that before. I think it actually was natives. Wait, I think they had core kids. Am I having deja vu? Wait, I swear I've seen this exact scenario with the same vulnerabilities, and Verdant ended up winning because of it, and natives in the interview were like, well, we just picked really comfortable champions for ourselves. I swear it was even this matchup. Wait, this is... Okay, never mind. I'm having an existential crisis here. Please take over.
Yeah, I will take over as this invade comes through. Hybrid looking to clear these Raptors away. I will still say I do still hit the Cyber, but I do see the strength in it. It looks very strong at the moment, and Dopamine, despite losing the first camp, will look to make that happen yet again. Hybrid though, trying to deny as much as possible here on the Volleyball, who's also found a bit of a way back to the meta. Not top by any means, but certainly playable at the moment.
Certainly so. I do think like top lane is probably more viable than jungle, but I also think Corki should be a top laner, and no one will listen to me. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Bot lane, yeah, again, we're not seeing like the full fist fighting happening. Bal pretty much just has to match Kalmsky, make sure Kalmsky doesn't get too big of an advantage.
Oh, level 2!
Wow,
Kalmsky
hunts him.
Underneath the turret, forces the flash.
I respect it.
That hurt.
Yeah, I respect it. That's a good way. Didn't expect Kalmsky to go straight in for that, but he did. Bal was ready for it, though. Bal's like, yeah, I'll take that trade. Kalmsky, though, he's going to be able to get this wave in with that, so the not having flash up thing's not going to matter for a while. Wave will be coming back. There's a large amount there for this flash to start coming back up, so they're not going to be that bothered. They're not going to be that bothered by how this early has gone.
Yeah, still much to play in the game, but only just a few minutes as proud. As painful, trying to survive this thing, because obviously Harbo applying the pressure, trying to utilize the power that the Lucian has early on.
I'm desperately trying to find this game. I swear to God I've seen this exact situation.
If
I am
you find it,
desperately...
let me know, as Dopamine is trying to find a gank here. Painful. Could be in a bit of trouble, but Valkyrie just out to safety. That is a lot of mana though, and now will likely recall shortly.
Yeah. Fialoris able to get the kind of the bounce on top. Now no longer really. Does need to get the push in. Natives on that bounce back. Ezreal's gotten his tier, so no additional combat stats, but vulnerability on space.
Space rooted up, has the flash available. Another good knockback though, forcing the flash. As a, I mean, honestly, I think you take that, right? Forcing a sum is pretty nice in that situation.
Yep. These two do want to go back, though, and if they go back here, there's a possibility of denial. Or Ezreal could just slow push this, big time towards Creek, and Leona could get on the map earlier. Hybrid's going topside looking for Cancer, he'll just get some vision down. He sees the respawn coming up from Zyra there. Zyra not really going to lose anything, or showing on the bot side. Lose her can become a big deal, especially against an Alistair, especially against the Volley Bear. No longer that safety.
The pullback? Oh, the flash away. Oh, the other is this top lane is balancing on a knife set, and Hybrid could be here to make a tip to Native's favor.
And it's happening because that Volley Bear did decide to stay for the Gromp respawn, right? So Fialoris is like, I have jungle advantage topside, I'm going to put as much pressure as I can here.
Dopamine is on his way.
Zyra's coming in as well.
Hybrid. The play has to happen now, or it won't happen at all. The first blood comes through, just as they would have wished. Massive wave here being denied, and the scoring could
3 seconds.
Fialoris.
Yep, TP coming out, so they're not going to extend for the tower. Zyra, though, doesn't want to let him go. Doesn't want to let him go that easily. He wants to try to get someone else, try to delay some of the recalls. She knows she has an advantage on the map against this Volley Bear, because Volley Bear's pressing B, then has to walk out on the map. You get a free play, essentially, so painful. Not able to go all in on Harbo. Harbo could theoretically play extremely aggressive here. Zyra sees the Raptors camp. Also playing with this knowledge that Volley Bear can't possibly be here, threatens. But will back off. Painful's not being in. Nor can he, realistically, in this situation. Zyra taking the whole of Volley Bear's top side. There is a ward in the bottom side of the map, so Volley knows Zyra's not on transfer Krugs. But that's all he knows. Will Zyra be taking this Raptors? It does look like she will. Harbo playing heavily towards top side.
Yeah, Harbo back in the roster doing very well so far here as this Drake will be taken by native Void Grub spawning on the top side. They look to be taken down by Dopamine. And I saw this right on social media when I first saw Zyra jungle. I don't know what competitive game it was. There was some competitive league where there was a Zyra who just at the 20-minute mark set ready at the Baron and pretty much just killed it in 15 seconds alone. Is that true? Like, can that happen, Metro?
Yeah, I mean, Zyra, whenever she is viable in the jungle, is almost purely viable because of her wave clear. Other aspects need to occur for her to become truly viable, which is those skirmishing bits, but yes, she can pretty much delete any objective in an insane amount of time. Morgana's the same, by the way. Morgana is always a perpetually underrated jungler that has very, very similar reasons. The thing that obviously brought these guys back is the Blackfire Torch option. So if you don't think that early game is going to be very aggressive and skirmish heavy, you can go straight into Blackfire Torch already. Otherwise, you can stack it with Leandries. So a lot of these items were getting re-examined, and a lot of the jungle ended up pivoting around that.
Yeah, just there, you know?
Almost. Actually tanks all of those needles on the last bit, but he doesn't have teleport. So if Theoloris goes for a 1-for-1 here, even without the TP advantage, it would be completely worth. Dopamine. Dopamine? Dopamine W? Dopamine? Looking to defend.
Theoloris, will let you try and look for the... I feel like he's gonna look for something here. Oh, that's a good pullback. CC's there, surely the kill. Theoloris though, trying to turn it around. Will he win this 1v2? Yes! He finds one. Can he find the other?
Oh my god, he has conk. He has conk.
Oh my god, there's no way Theoloris. Can he go back? No, Dopamine wins it in the end. It's a 1-for-1 though, and Native's very happy with that outcome.
Yeah, he got the Conqueror proc, but the wave may not be that good for him. Theoloris, I think, may actually have to burn that TP. Still gets denial over Sheehan though, even with that state. Once you have that Conqueror, going straight in for the 1v2 will always look really close. That tower wasn't there, that Zyra was 100% dead. Do you like plants?
Yes.
You hate Zyra.
I mean, I don't have many plants at home, and that because I live in a basement at the moment, so plants don't really thrive here. But when I get my own apartment, I'll have a few plants that I'll take care of. It's kind of a test, if I'm a good adult.
With a beard like that, I believe in you.
Thank you, Richard. I do believe in myself as well.
Match from both junglers. So Volley on bot, Zyra also on bot. Two choices: pivot in towards straight bot side play, or move towards top side immediately. Volley Bear, if he does one top side, he should be able to be top for that escort for Theoloris. Looks like Zyra is going to desync them, so Zyra moving towards bot to escort the bot side out. Cassante technically safe here. Sheehan needs to make sure Theoloris doesn't get another trade, because every time we go topside, it feels like Theoloris has found another trade to play on the next wave to potentially dive.
Yeah, they still performing pretty well. They had a rough start to the split, and now they're doing okay. Harbo, though, very, very aggressive trade, and they could him in the bomb as a hybrid. Pays a visit, but doesn't find kill. Flash is 4 advantage painful will have for 5 minutes now. Oh, Komsky.
Yeah, leaning very hard top.
Will likely have to flash this as well in the end.
Nope.
Able to make it out.
Good fundamentals, just lean top. GG. What can they do? Volley Bear does get the escort. Wait, he tried to re-enter? What are you doing?
Trouble and will go down. Komsky.
What is he doing? Yeah, he tried to re-enter through the lane. He could have just gone all the way around. He had time to go all the way around as the wave was moving back in. That was very interesting and very painful.
Yeah, very painful.
Please laugh.
Our comedian with me on the desk, on the casting desk today. Woohoo! Yahoo! So fun. And was that enough, or was it too much? Baul looking for this top side gank potentially. Dopamine is in the area though and spotted, so they back off. Instead, they turn their attention to the void drops. 3 had already been claimed from Burton, so denying this will stop any void drops from spawning later on in the game.
This is where saving the flash is a good idea for Painful, because this second Herald, second Grubs can absolutely be contested by both sides right now, but because of that flash being up on Corki and no flash being up on Karmsky, it's actually very difficult, especially with no ultimate, to be able to immediate contest this. So, potential flashpoint, but somewhat avoided. 20 seconds to Drake. Karmsky will have the ultimate up for that one. So too will Lucian. A very big combo if they want to find something. But unfortunately, every flash is up for natives.
Dopamine looking for Space here. Space has both summons, but very little HP to work with. So a few more autos should do it. Dopamine picks it up. The turret does a good amount of damage. Now needs to get out because Hybrid is on his way. Same goes for Painful. And Ball will look to keep Dopamine here. Good flash to try and buy some space, but the CC chain is there. The shutdown has now been collected as well. In the extended fight, Harbor will join as well. Bowl now the target. But the Unbreakable will strong enough, and it's a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yep, the game breaking open a bit now. Kills at least opening up, but this should be... Actually, the Drake itself is somewhat neutralized by a lot of how these players are going. They're getting the crash in on bot side. It does look like, yes, natives will be claiming this Drake for themselves. That was their window. They burned Space's flash. Space going to be very vulnerable to the next Karmsky ultimate.
Shion is at this moment very much just surviving the laning days. He's really having a rough time up against the other is. We're seeing yet another good Gwen here. This could be good though.
Ult.
Pull back as well, but the needlework is coming through from Theolorus, and he's gonna do it yet again. Is he not? No, 1 HP.
Misses.
But they don't have the damage to take him down. There are no plans. Theolorus now looking for Dopamine. Will he get him? The autos. Oh my god, no way. Harbo plays the kill. Dopamine and Shihan barely surviving.
Yep, they have the damage unless Theoloris has 12 stack on Conqueror, and that's what they were waiting for. They did not want to go in there, risk blocking it, and then not have enough damage because of the heal and the ridiculous damage that Gwen's able to do. Remember, if your Conqueror is fully stacked, you can 1v2 the enemy team. Believe not in yourself, but in the absurdity of the Riot Games balancing team.
Jesus, man. Gwen today has looked pretty good. But hasn't won a game yet. Maybe this time around it will change. Shihan investing heavily in that magic resist early on.
Harbo, also living his best life. Space has to be wary. They don't know where Leona is. They only know Leona is not bot side immediately able... Honestly, they don't know that. She could be on the catwalk. Immediately able to slam R on him. But until that, all he has is a cleanse. That's all he has right now. And that arrow, only going to be good into Dopamine. So Dopamine, no flash, he should be worried about a potential opener by Space and Bao. Space, remember, subbing in for natives today. I remember when they typed in the chat today that ADC on natives, they will be using Space. And I was saying, you should always use Space on the ADCs.
Yeah, I've never had a card where you've tried to be this humorous. The
clarifications had to be made. I actually try to be this humorous all the time, you just never laugh. My self-esteem goes down dramatically whenever we cast together.
Yeah, same for me, because you're so smart about the game and I don't know that.
I mean, you could have just ended it at the word smart, to be honest. It would have been accurate.
I mean, you're smart at Gyugas, actually. That's impressive. That's
true.
People claim this Herald. But yeah, you're the best Gyugas I've ever seen, and I think this Theolorus is as dead as I've ever seen him. Surely there is no way out of getting anything in this situation.
Don't watch the World Championships, and then you can continue saying that.
Yeah, I won't, just because of mental health, because I'll feel horrible at geography. If I watch that as the Herald shot, we'll get 1, maybe 2 turrets as well. The 2 charges are guaranteed. The second turret will be the prize, as I do believe it's going to go down here. Harbo defending it on his own. The game a bit more methodical than the other ones, but a lot has still happened, especially around the neutral and standing gold on the map.
Yep, kill advantage on the side of Verdun, but natives are slowly but surely chipping down the map. Cassante really can't deal with Gwen. There is that top side that natives can always play with, and they're always playing with wave advantage, so they're able to do something there. They're able to translate that into a midsection toss, and remember that Herald did not get contested because Gwen has the side prio on top side the whole time. So Herald able to be taken, able to be dropped, the map opening up severely in favor of Verdun, in favor of natives. Verdun able to trade back a tower on bot lane, but remember last game, remember how dramatically those mid towers shifted the course of what was a much more vibrant game in terms of kills, but this game is one for the map movement and macro nerds out there.
Yeah, it's a nerdy game of League of Legends. This is the
Wow.
League of Legends.
The
Clean,
voice,
methodical, moving around. Yeah, go on.
the voice was not required. So all
Actually, it was required. Thank you very much.
wow.
Regardless, no, the arrow!
Oh!
The next on Komsky. The snipe,
the
the
other.
kill to be claimed, and it down goes Komsky. TP's in though, this ain't over. Never mind it is, Shihan did not want any piece in that. And he's right back out of there.
Honestly, the shred for Painful, the owner wasn't even able to get ultimate off, so that TP in by Cassante wasn't able to do anything. They've just burned TP. That's going to really negate Verdant's ability to play the map after this. This looks like a pretty good Natives win. Yes, the kills are still in favor of Verdant, but nothing else is at this point. With 28 seconds for Mountain, Natives are clearly in control of the map.
So, 20 seconds on the break as well. And as you say, no TP for Shihan. That could be crucial in that. So we'll see what Verdant's counter move is here. Is it, like, what do they have planned instead?
I mean, they probably do end up going for the Drake to try to burn Fioloris's TP, and if Fioris does end up going for that TP, it's gonna depend. Oh, okay, here we go. They're trying to get the Cassante grouped up earlier, but honestly, Natives could just give up this Drake. Oh,
forced
TP coming
in. Out to safety. Drake still aggroing Hubble. Take a bit of damage from him. Let's look at Ball here. Can he find the right engage? That could be massive for the upcoming fight. Clearly, they want to fight this on the flank. Comes Shihan. Painful. The priority target, but instead Hybrid is one locked up initially. Ball finds two on his engage. Space though, caught out. The cleanse keeps him alive and stops that ignite from ticking. The Drake still not going down, but Verdant are falling to pieces here. It is Natives who are looking to clean up the rift. X drop the next on the menu. That is 3. Already claimed the Drake as the cherry on top. It is dessert for Natives as they get everything they could have wanted.
Yep, Native's draft was being praised pre-game. Painful's not done. Dopamine is down. Your favorite champion not able to do anything. Into your actual favorite champion, the Corkster, the man himself. Painful now 5-1. Did get targeted a bit in that laning phase, but all for naught. Space. He's subbed in for Natives, but it looks like Natives, they're potentially able to claim a very critical victory that they need to be in the running. Right, if they end up on 3 today, they're only 1 win away from being in that race with everyone else tomorrow. This is a brilliant start for Natives to the week if they're able to close it out. But they have 3 objectives here. They could give up 1 for tempo, and if they give up 1 for tempo, they're likely on Verdant's Nexus. So all the options in favor of Natives, they don't need to use all the space in between. But we did think there would be issues with the Verdant composition beforehand, right? The Gwen, very well placed to give pressure here, and that pressure she has been getting the whole time, right? Desperation play by Verdant. They were on a timer with the Cassante to have to do something. Turned out to be a crucial mistake as the Gwen that's been getting economy this whole time. Painful has been getting advantages. All of it snowballed, and now that final thing they just didn't have. They didn't have the kill advantage. They have it now. Cassante is like, I don't see any advantage on this Gwen. I'm going in. And the refs are like, pause that. What did you just say? That's a Gwen. Alright? What are you talking about?
Let's hope this pause is a short-term one. I will keep you guys updated if anything is informed that it could be longer. I do fear that. Okay. We are back. In an instant, Fioloris could be in trouble as well. Or, as I say that, I do have to realize it can heal up quite a lot, but never count out the Cassandra. That's one thing I've learned from watching too much League of Legends.
Too much of what kind? NLC League of Legends, maybe?
Just League of Legends, to be honest. But then again, when I say I watch a lot of League of Legends, I think I watch quite a lot of League of Legends. But you watch an insane amount of League of Legends, so you probably know, yeah.
You probably watch more Danish League than me. I generally only get caught up at playoffs when it comes to those guys.
Yeah, I get what I watch what I can, but it's not always I have the time, you know. As I'm starting to grow up, it takes a lot of time to make sure it grows and nurture it successfully, you know.
I was thinking about that the other day because I was casting EPL. I was doing a Sigma cast on the EPL. By the way, you can catch me on the
Sigma
EPL
cast.
tomorrow. Yeah, you can catch me on the EPL tomorrow at the very least for the second game. I'll try to be there for the first game, probably just the second VO2 tomorrow. And there were shadows. Everyone had shadows. They had like these really hyper detailed shadows in game. And I was having like such a double take. Like, has the game always had these options? How come I've never seen them? Like really detailed shadow. I was like, I think that was the first time I'd seen League on like max settings. Even though I've been watching it non-stop for years.
Crazy.
I was saying, dude, I was actually having like an existential crisis. It was insane. Like the
all
reads.
those hours watching League of Legends, but you've never seen it in the best graphical setting.
The reads had such detailed shadow. That got everything. Like Ezreal here would have an insane shadow right now on those settings. Like you can kind of see one under Leona, right? But trust me, this is a different level. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's a diatribe because this game is not like the last game.
Bot lane?
Right?
Oh, Shihan, you're losing
now.
this, man. Theolorus is healing up all the damage you're doing. And even more. Let's see, though. Dancing around the... Pick the fight you could not win. And Theolorus will not find himself in a peculiar situation. He just goes for the turret instead. Is the Hello Miss back up? Yes, it is. And now Doberman is the one in trouble, actually, I will say. The knock-up is good. Theolorus, no!
Oh, no.
Don't let top laners pick Gwen. Forces 3 members down there. And where does the rest of natives go? Right to the Baron. They will claim it for free. Yep. Yes, they lose a mid lane turret, but what a play overall.
Yep, double aggression play right there. We talk about this every single time we watch G2. This is G2's bread and butter. You have a threat play on bot and a threat play on the top side of the map. The enemy can only group and outnumber you on one of them. And so long as you are ahead on both objectives, you will get something no matter what. Yes, they grouped and they killed Theolorus. But not only was Theolorus able to trade one back, they were already on the Baron, and that Baron could not be contested. It could not be contested because the numbers were not there for Verdant to do so. They were too busy trying to deal with Theolorus on this Gwen. That ticking time bomb has exploded. The Gwen is a big threat. They're able to play with Gwen like this consistently, then yeah, maybe you'll take small trades, but it will be like the last game, right? Or maybe it's 2 games ago. Yes, you may have gotten that inch back, but only after losing that mile.
Yeah, that is actually a really good point. I really like this. Your opponents take a mile and then you get something back, but it just doesn't compare. And it's really an inch in the grand scheme of things. And in 11 seconds, yet another mile can go over to the side of natives. It's the soul. Verdant, though, here to respond. Theolorus on the top side pushing away. So let's see how this cross map will be played. Can natives buy time? What's the move? Verdant, though, starting up the Drake. TP.
Ezreal pretty good in these situations if the fight is slow. Natives don't want this fight to be slow. They want to engage. They want to find something painful trying to poke,
the TP
realizing
coming
it
in.
have it.
Bow
They're in.
finds absolutely no one on the initial engage, but it doesn't really matter because they're so far forward that Theolorus can just look to run them down. He should die here in the end, but he's found 2 before that. And there goes the soul into the waiting hands of natives. X-Drop and Harpo, try as you might, but nothing can stop this native roster from getting all that they want.
Very good trigger pull by natives there. The worst case scenario is that they just stare at an Ezreal slowly poking them down all the time. Corki can't quite match that, but the TP comes in from Theolorus and the go button is there for the rest of natives. They do enough of a distraction on the rest of them. They split them off enough. Theolorus knows that if he goes in and trades a kill, he has done his job and he'll continue to be the threat on the next respawn. The enemy will be so low that it should be a free cleanup for the rest of natives. Very, very good read on the situation there by the team, and subs apparently not that big of an issue. Joke over with Nord, able to take a win versus the top team DMG natives. 2-6 with space coming in on the AD carry role. He's 0-1-8. He's not even super carrying here, but it's fitting for the side of natives, and it's fitting when they need it the most. Going into Verdant, 2 wins behind the rest of the pack. They need to close that gap. This makes NLC even closer as we enter the later stages of the regular season.
Paulo caught out this time around. Obviously, can buy a lot of time.
Oh my god.
There is no unbreakable will, and they just can't come through the HP bars. I thought maybe the fight would continue with the native engage, but they'll just try and poke down Harpo, though. caught out here. Can they just burst him down? Yes, it's the emphatic answer as he's now forced to dash away. One more auto would do it. And there it comes. Hybrid picks up the kill. This is game, set, and match. The gold lead is 11k natives. At the steps of the base, will break it all open in one go and get that third victory of the split.
This is gonna lead to 0 perfect days. Almost a perfect day for Archman, but yeah, Verdant on this one, not natives as natives. They want to keep that double aggression up. You either save your Nexus or you save the Baron. It's not gonna be either. Zyra does go down, Dopamine does fall down in the Baron pit right there. It's natives. They end the game a crucial win. Right, remember how we think about this, right? It's much more useful to think in terms of how many weeks it would take to catch up, because you don't want to be in the final week needing 2 weeks worth of games. Right now, they're a full week behind the rest of the pack, but with this one win, if they get one more, they equalize. Worst case scenario, say that Verdant were to lose tomorrow, then you can overlap them in 1 week. They want to stay in that 1 week period. Right now, worst case, they're still going to be a week behind everyone else, but at least they keep that. At least right now, coming into the final stretch, they'll still be in the running. They need to keep this momentum.
That is a very good point. The playoff race is well and truly alive with this victory for natives. All the doors are open. Anything can happen pretty much in the NLC. We'll throw to a short break, and when we come back, the analysts will break down this, very hard racing games today. Blah.
At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.
All doors are open, as Duckling stated, and everybody's still willing to fight for playoffs place. Thank you, Duckling. Thank you, veteran. It was lovely to see you with beards. But now natives taking down Verdant with fashion as well. That is the most important part of it. That was a fashion game. I don't know if you agree with me. I'm giving MVP to Theo.
See, that's a great shout, but
When?
my MVP is going to hashtag Demdrafts. That was beautiful. That was a 10 out of 10. That was a 10 out of 10, 80-20 draft from Dem. My boy, he took it home. I mean, what can you say? You got to sometimes give it to the coach when he produces something special. This was definitely one of them, and obviously the players delivered upon that setup. You've got to do it. You've got to hold up their end of the bargain. But it has to be said, natives came for this one prepared, and it's really, really important for them to get this win. I'm super happy for them.
Question:
Yeah.
Are you actually fighting the host for the MVP?
Yes.
Where do you think you are, man?
All right, can I fight too? Can I fight this one as well? Can I give it to Bull instead? I thought that Alistair performance was really good.
Yo, true. That guy was crazy.
I changed my idea. Bull it is.
I agree. Let's go, Bull.
Wait, does that mean I'm the superior host because I made the host change their mind?
Wait, you come here. No, the Alistar was amazing, and I gotta give credits to Dem. Obviously, that was an amazing champion select. He brought so much. Every single pick was like a counter towards what they brought up. I mean, Todok, you were a coach once back in the past, so obviously, yeah.
Bro, I'm not retired yet. Come on, leave me alone. I'm in the NACL right now. Come on. Look, just because I'm not in your neck of the woods.
Like you were saying, you were a coach before, right?
Oh, right. Oh, I see how it is. But yeah, absolutely. This is the type of stuff that as a coach you really live for. When you actually manage to have a vision for countering the enemy team's B1 and then delivering upon that with your players' champion pools as well in mind. And I think Dem did that to a superb degree. And I hope to see more of that coming out from natives the rest of the split, because this is the first time in a good while, I'd say, where I've seen a genuine good draft gap and then strong execution come out from definitely the side of natives. And if they keep managing to do this, that is how you keep taking the important steps up the mountain to playoffs.
I totally agree. It seems like the mountain is open. Like everybody can go into the top of the standings. I don't think Blue Whites can pull it. That would be a miracle of its own. But aside from it,
think
Playoffs,
that they
you
are
can still
officially
fight.
out, actually. I think they're officially out. I don't think there are enough games that Blue Whites could actually win that they could. I'd have to double check, but I was pretty sure they had to win every single game to even
And
have the
still.
hope. Yeah, exactly. I think now it's official.
Yeah, not even plot armor can save you from that one. At the end of the day, what's the recap from both of you from the games we had today?
Well, I think the league has rounded out in the way that we somewhat expected, but has also been made more competitive by that. And what I mean by this is, there was a real chance that a couple of teams in our league could have started galloping away. They could have improved over the past few weeks. They could have become cleaner, more refined, and actually be charging their way, to a point where we say, look, these guys are untouchable. It happens in a lot of different leagues across Europe and, across League of Legends, where actually there's no chance of the team in 6th beating the team in 1st. I think that the case with the NLC this split is actually that every single team has maintained its flaws from the start of the season. And whilst that is, sad in some respects, because look, we want our teams to get better, we want them to do well at EME Masters, it also means that actually, one, there's still a place to go, so, we're not writing them off at this point, but it also means that it's very, very competitive within our league, and I don't think we can write off any single game of being, just chalked up to position in the standings. A team like Ruddy, for instance, still has a lot of problems, and a team like Natives, well, they're on the up, and, if they still can play each other, I don't know if they can, but, that would be a hugely competitive game, in my opinion. I don't think it would go one way or the other. And this is the type of stuff that you really live for if you're a competitor in this league, but hopefully also as a fan, because if you support any of these teams that are still in the race, they can literally all beat each other on the day, and that's fantastic.
I love it.
I'm definitely with you on this one, Torg. I think that I have it's the top 6 in my mind, which is funny because it's actually not the top 6. I think that Natives, after this performance, really, at first it was only 5, and they have entered into this race a little bit, like having toppled Verdant, having knocked them down a peg. Lightside, we saw that game against Ruddy kind of showing their downward trajectory that they're currently on. But I look at a lot of the teams, like Nord looked really good today, but they had their issues. We say with looking at DMG, they looked bad at first, but then they looked good towards the end of the game. It was just a couple of mistakes earlier on that put them in a bad position. Ruddy plays muddy. They are all ready to fight, and it's one of those things where I kind of look at how this league could really shake out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the final week and we have a 4-way tie for first place with 2 teams right outside of it ready to take down any of those 4.
Oh boy, that would take like a weekend to untie. I love it. I'm down for that one. So if you have any idea who do you think is the MVP of the day, head on to Twitter and slap in your vote. And if you want to, might as well, if you're staying on Twitter, join the Fantasy League and actually make a team of your own. There's a lot of players that you may believe like, oh, X-Drop should be here and this should be there. And then you can make your own Fantasy League. And why do I win with that, Asher? Well, not only a fun time, but also you can get a keyboard, a mouse, and a headset if you're the best of the best at the end of the split. So it's up to you. Don't waste any time. Head onto social media and join the Fantasy League. Without that in mind, gentlemen, I bid you farewell, so I'd like to get your last words. This sounded ominous.
Omnius.
Quack. Quack would be my last word.
Nice.
Quack.
Well, that is beautiful. My last words are the NLC is still only just beginning. I'm very excited for the rest of this league. Thank you very much for having me.
I love that one, Todok. And for you, Magical, I find it interesting that it took one day of you to be a better duck than a gentleman called Duckling. Well, never mind, I bid you farewell until then, because we're back tomorrow at the same time as usual. We don't have graphics, and we do apologize for that. So tomorrow's going to be a better day for everyone involved, and you as well, because without you, it's not the same broadcast. So join us tomorrow for another day, 10th day of the NLC Summer Split 2024. It's up to you, and until then, keep climbing. I'll see you soon.
Break it down. Step on the gas, let's get out of town. We're gonna break out and have some fun. We're gonna do what you never done. Oh yeah. Come on, take your body with you. It's a money weekend. Everything we wanna, we go do.